Hello, my name is Emeka Caesar. For my oral presentation, I have chosen to speak about Mark Twain's various jobs, his lifestyle growing up, and just different things like that. So, starting off, Mark Twain was born in a place called Missouri, Florida, which is interesting itself because it's just someplace I had never heard of. And when I read it at first, I thought that it was a typo. And it was described as a small town, and they said that it was perhaps smaller than it is now. And when I looked it up on Apple Maps, the population said zero, which I had never seen that before either. But in 1911, the population was 200, so that actually was incorrect. It is not smaller than it is now. Where Mark Twain was born, there's a birthplace historic site, and it consists of a 55-minute tour, and you basically just go through the home where he spent the early part of his childhood before he moved to Mississippi. We were told that Mark Twain did not remember ever having seen or heard his father laugh, and to me that was just so sad because it could make a boy grow up to think that he shouldn't show any emotion, or just that men are supposed to be these soulless people. And yeah, that was just kind of like crazy to me. Like, if you never see your first hero, because that's what a father is to most boys, it's their first hero. And if you never see him smile or anything like that, it could just to give you like they give you a negative connotation on happiness and joy and how you should express yourself. So I thought that was unfortunate. We learned that there was a lot of river pilots where Mark Twain was coming up when he was older, and when he became a river pilot, we learned that there was a lot of them. And I assume that there was a lot because they were right along the Mississippi River. And the Mississippi River runs 2,350 miles long, so it would be a large need for them. When I first read River Pilot, I thought that it was going to be this like a riverboat pilot. I thought that they were going to be like flying, but that was a bad assumption since it does say river right there in it. It was crazy, like, just to think about how like where you grow up can have such an effect on like how you live your life. Because if Mark Twain was born on the West Coast and there weren't as many accessible rivers, like he could have taken on a whole different type of career. And he like got a lot of his like he expressed himself a lot, and like I feel like decided he was gonna be a writer, like when he was doing his different jobs. So like, just to think that like he could have been doing completely different things, and his life just could have gone a whole different way if he just lived on the other side of the U.S. I wanted to know what you had to do to become a riverboat pilot, like nowadays, and you have to go through 3 years of training on the exact type of boat that like you want to operate. And it's not like a class thing. Like everything that you learn how to do, you have to do it like on the job. And that's kind of like how Mark Twain did it, but I'm assuming now it's more so like learning based, whereas he was doing just a lot of like trial and error, and Bixby was just like criticizing him along the way. When Twain had a night job, which was called watching freight, and I didn't know what that was either when I read it. And I learned that it was basically just loading and unloading cargo off of trains, and that paid him $3. It paid him $3, and he said that it made him feel rich. And I thought that was just crazy because like to be doing such manual labor and you get $3 is something completely wild to me. But $3 back then was more, but still it just sounded so like minimal. I learned because I mistakenly read a chapter. I read the chapter Love Making an Adventure, and I read that Mark Twain, he was involved with a girl who was 15 years old, and he was 21 when he was talking to her. And it was just crazy to think about how like the times have changed, because nowadays, like if you see that, like that person is frowned upon and judged like quite a bit. But then like it was just this normal thing, and it was just like weird almost, but it's like that's what it was, so you can't even judge him too much. Twain told her that he had time to do nothing else since he was learning the water, but he had a whole other job like on the weekends. So it made me think like, is he like a liar? Like just made me question what type of person he is. Also, like when it comes to what type of person he is, in the June 25th, 1870 letter, Mark Twain was talking about sending $300 to the Fredonia Bank for his mother, like just to help support her in a really tough time. And I thought that this was like, it just showed his care and his concern for her during such a difficult time. Because $300 back then, like even today, I feel like sending somebody $300 is like a little bit of money, but well, not a little bit, like it's a good amount of money. But like back then, like it's just even more. So it just really showed like his giving nature, especially when it comes to helping those that he loved. Twain said that he was not a dusty Christian, and to me that sounded just like off the wall, like what? And it was just somebody who was old fashioned or traditional in their approach to their faith, and they referred to someone who may be like a bit rigid or like resistant to change. And just the word dusty threw me off initially, but I think it makes sense now. He said that he's not himself a dusty Christian, a dusty Christian, but he does have an interest in religion. In the June 18th, 1858 letter, I liked that we saw how Twain's brother, like his last memory of him was one where he was standing up for him to like the captain, or I think it was the boat captain. Like I just thought that was really nice. And we learned that he was in a position of importance. This was before he sent his mom the $300. So like we hear that like he does have the money to do it. So it's good that he did it. But he said he was making $250 a month, and I calculated that, and it was $9,360, and he was making a yearly salary of well, if he got that like for all 12 months of a year, I don't know how long it was, but like that would come out to $112,000 a year, and like it was just like he was making good money back then. So like just his rank in the world and like his importance was really good. I also read about, well, I didn't read this in our readings, but I went to a website and did some research on his time in the war. He went to war in the summer of 1861, and he said that it was fun like for a little bit, but then it quickly became hard work and gave the soldiers this depressing feeling. A funny story that I read that I'll close on was Twain said that he instructed somebody that was like below him in rank to go, I think it was like to be a dry mule. I don't know what that is. And the person told him like, I'm not here to be a dry mule. That's not why I came to the army. And Twain just like, he let it go because he didn't know like how much weight his word held. And I thought that was funny because it was like, how did you get to such a high rank? And, well, not such a high rank, but like, how did you get to be a higher up? And you don't even know that, like, such subordinates should be handled seriously. But yeah, all in all, I've enjoyed reading and learning about Mark Twain and who he was as a person, and just different experiences from those times. And yeah, that's my presentation.